God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. We so need the gifts of young minds and hearts and new ideas and ways of relating to each other in our communities, in our nation, and in our world. If there is one word I would like all of us to ponder in these coming days and weeks, and our confirmation class to think about in the living of their lives, it is the word bigotry. Because when you consider where we find ourselves as a human race, and all that would seek to destroy and harm and undo us, perhaps encapsulated in the meaning of this single word is the terror that so pervades communities, nations, and our whole human family. Bigotry and judgment are the height of insecurity. Bigotry or prejudice in any form is more than a problem. It is a deep-seated evil within our whole world. And to think about this a little bit, we all carry within us shades of bigotry. We are the product of where we grow up. We are the product of the families and the settings where we live. And we cannot help but absorb the goodness, the blessings, the great teachings, and we cannot help but absorb the narrow-mindedness that also exists in those places where we have grown up and lived our lives. I grew up in a rural setting in north-central Pennsylvania. Every person in the county in which I lived was white. The school system, every organization, we all looked alike. My parents were not bigoted. I was not bigoted, but let me tell you, when I was 18 and I graduated from high school, I was extremely excited about going to college. And I was going to go to that big city of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and go to Franklin and Marshall College. And I would experience the world. And I was filled with all of the wonder of that. And the excitement of being out from under the thumb of my parents. I'd be on my own, so to speak, in a college campus community. But the shades of prejudice, the shades of bigotry that we carry, sometimes we don't realize. And when I walked on the F&M campus, I knew that the name of my roommate was Kelly Evans. I knew nothing more about him. I knew that I looked forward to meeting him and that I hoped we would get along and have some similar interests. And I remember my folks carrying bags up into the dormitory, and we walked into the room, and Kelly and his folks were already in the room, and we walked in, and there was a sudden moment of surprise. Kelly was black. He was my roommate. I had never, ever been around an African-American person. And my parents had taught me to be open to all people, but you know, in all honesty, there was that moment of, a hesitation. And we introduced ourselves and we talked, and it's pretty remarkable. As it turned out, Kelly's father was the governor of the Virgin Islands. He was a surgeon turned politician. He was wealthy, and my roommate in college had gone to the finest prep schools money could buy. I, on the other hand, had grown up in north central Pennsylvania, gone to a one-room school for 6 years, lived on a dairy farm, and guess who was the hick? It was one of those moments, and we discovered, Kelly and I, a friendship that was wonderful and profound. I could not have asked for a better college roommate. He didn't drink, wasn't interested in drugs, studied hard, had a good background in his family, and he was the best possible friend I could have had. Almost as if the hand of God was in the paths of two people crossing. And that's what I want you all to think about today. The people who cross the paths of our lives and how we are open, the way Jesus taught us to be, to the possibilities that God presents to every one of us. You remember the story of Jesus meeting the Samaritan woman at the well. First of all, you didn't speak to Samaritans because they were beneath you. They were not equal to the Jews. There was a profound prejudice. Jesus spoke to this person. Second, she was a woman. And given the etiquette and the way of behavior of the time, you never spoke to a woman beyond your immediate family. It was impolite. He spoke anyway. And they shared words of depth and meaning about what it means to experience the living water that life offers, the fullness that life offers. When we think about bigotry, every one of us can think back to the great historical moments when cultures confronted bigotry. The Civil War, World War II. In fact, I was reminded this morning that tomorrow is D-Day, the day when thousands, tens of